So hi there, this is your Serial Cynic, coming to you with another topic, and it's going to go right back to my topics on, well, it's going to touch on the Hebrew Israelites. Going to touch on a few other things too. But one of the reasons why I'm coming back to this topic is because, of course, I've gotten a lot of comments to my other videos on the Hebrew Israelites. And one of the constant accusations made against me because of those videos is because I say some things that may contradict or go against the belief or some of the beliefs that they have, or I may question some of the beliefs that they have. And in doing so, some have just gone straight to the point that I am a sellout. I'm an agent for white people. I'm still of the slave mentality. In other words, because I don't agree with their findings or their conclusions, somehow that equals the fact that I'm siding with white people, or I'm siding with these fake imposter Jews who are in Israel today. I don't know how they're drawing that conclusion because these people don't know me. And based on what I said, in none of my videos, I think I went around and said, well, yeah, white people are right, and these Jews in Israel, they are the true people of God. I've never said anything like that in any of my videos. And it just comes out that because I'm just not going along with this, hey, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Don't you know I know who I am. I've awoken and found out who I am. And I'm a child of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, or whatever. Because I'm not going along with that, somehow I'm on the side of white people. Now, the reason why I'm even doing this video is because I don't know if they see a glaring irony to all of this. And this is it. Once upon a time I was a Christian, die-hard Christian. And one of the complaints that I used to hear growing up, of course, in the Caribbean, or I should say later on, is the fact that you have people in the black community who scoff at people who claim they're Christians or who follow the Bible. Because the way that they see it, and they make sense, is the fact that black folks having a Bible, believing in the biblical God, and following all those things is basically a leftover legacy from when our people were enslaved. So, I agree with them, but that's a conclusion I could have made on my own anyway. It's not like I heard it from these folks first. It's a conclusion I can draw. We black folks, for the most part, at least on the western side of Africa, pretty much came in contact with the contents of the Bible or whatever it is through our people being enslaved. And this legacy is continued on down to us, where black folks cling on to this religion of Christianity and Jesus and things in the Bible because it's something that we were exposed to during the era of slavery. So now Hebrew Israelites are going to come to me and tell me about, I'm a white this, I'm a white that, I'm following white people, I'm a sellout. The white man has my mind, and so forth. When they are the same ones who are turning around and using primarily the King James Bible to try to prove their points to me. Now, I know, which was kind of surprising to me, that Hebrew Israelites, at least some of them, can't speak for all of them because remember there are different groups and different beliefs and so forth. But I do know that there's some who teach, and how they get around this. Because when you bring this point up to them, like, wait a minute, you're telling me about the white man this, the white man that, then you're bringing a Bible that the white man gave to you to come and tell me about stuff. So the way to get around it, to justify their use of using the King James Version Bible is, hey, do you know King James was actually black? Give me a break. In terms of history and the length of human history, King James did not live not too long ago. And all the portraits we've ever seen of him, he was a white man. This is a man that lived back in the the late 1400s? No, the 1500s? I think just before African slavery began, or right around the time, somewhere up in that area. So it's not like it wasn't like he died a long time ago in terms of, I mean, we're just talking about, what, 500 years ago, 600 years ago? The man was white. He was English. He was white. So the way that Hebrew Israelites get around this, they come up with this elaborate, whatever it is, that he was a black man. And not only he was a black man, he was a Hebrew Israelite. And because he was a Hebrew Israelite, he had the best intentions in mind when he commissioned the translation of the Bible into English. Of course, that is pure nonsense. But that is how they get around it. So while I'm hearing, you serial cynic, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're sell out to the white man, you're this and whatever. Then they're going to take a Bible, a book, that a white man commissioned the translation of, to take that same book, to bring it into the argument and say, see, in this book here, it says this, and this about our people. Now, I am not saying that the translation was deliberately written in a way for this and that and whatever. And I do realize these people sat down, and whether Hebrew Israelites know this or not, I do know that they sat down and they took what is known as a Masoretic text. I forgot how to spell that word anyway, but the Masoretic. Because I'm trying to remember if I'm spelling it correctly. I think it's Moseritic. So this is the book that the King James translators used, or the version I should say, the Hebrew text that they used to translate the Bible. But the fact remains that this was a white man who commissioned this translation. And this is what Hebrew Israelites put their faith and trust in. To come to me and tell me, you need to believe in this book and the contents that's in this book, at least the Old Testament portion, because it talks about us as black people. So the irony is, when you're telling me this, I am not the one coming to you with a Bible that somehow ended up amongst us as a people because of slavery, and using that book and trying to prove any points. You are the one, the Hebrew Israelite, that's coming to me and ripping open the Bible and coming to me and telling me I got to believe the stuff that's inside there. And if you listen to my other videos, I've mentioned the fact that I have my issues with the Bible and contents that are in the Bible. I appreciate the book. I do have a certain amount of respect for the book, even though I don't believe in the biblical God and don't believe in all that stuff that's in there. But there are valuable bits of information in that book that I like because I love to follow history. And it does fill in some gaps about the mental state of people on that side of the world back then. Because you have to understand, when it comes to the Bible was written for a specific group of people. It wasn't written for us. It was written for a specific group of people. Of course, the Hebrew Israelites throw themselves in and say it was talking about us as black folks. Possibly, because the people of the Bible were most likely people of color. But just because it was written for us, or whatever the case might be, does not mean the contents were exactly true. Again, the Bible is just a group of people's interpretation of the world back then filtered through their concept of their deity, their God, who initially they'd never believe was the only true God, who initially they did not believe was the only God around. They just believed that their God was one amongst many. But the unique thing about them was the belief was they were supposed to only worship that God and not other people's gods. So there's nothing unique or special when it comes to what you find in the contents in the Bible. It just happened to be a book that just managed, and it happens to come from a people that just managed to eat their way through history, that it came all the way down to our people during the times of slavery. And it's still part of our legacy because so many black people still cling on to it. So many black people still believe in the God of the Bible, the Jesus of the Bible. So when you're there telling me that I'm a sellout to the white man, this and that, but you're using a book that was popular amongst the white people of Europe who read that book, look into that book, and then use that book to justify enslaving our people and for keeping us there and for using it to pacify us as a people. And you're going to take that book, turn around and try to prove points to me, and then turn around and tell me that I'm the one that's caught up in this white world or whatever. Now let me let you know something else also. When it comes down to being a black man, which I am, I do not deny that for 1 second. I wear that out of my sleeve. I am proud to be a black man. And I'm proud of the region of the world I come from, the Caribbean. You can see it here all over my hands. I wear it. I don't hide it. I don't try to pretend to be anybody white. I don't want to be anybody white. I am who I am. Very proud of it. I am proud of my connection to Africa. I will tell people that. I don't hide it. I'm not running around here trying to buddy up with any white person. Like with everyone else. You're white, you come to me straight, you're good in whatever the case may be, good heart, good intentions, I have no problems. I just treat people as they come. I try my best not to blanket entire groups of people. If you're an asshole, black, white, green, purple, Muslim, whatever you are, you're an asshole. If you're a good person, I don't care what color, creed, whatever religion you follow. I don't even care what your sexual orientation is. You're good with me. So when you're coming into my comment section to tell me just because I don't agree with certain things that you talk about, or I may not follow your logic or whatever, and I have objections to it, do not equate it or think that, well, because he doesn't believe this, that means he must be sold out to the white man and he believes he's imposter Jews and whatever. I don't give a crap about whatever, anything to do with that kind of stuff. If that's what you want to believe, knock yourself out with it. Now, another thing I just want to bring up here while we're on this video is another thing, talking about legacies. Here we are in the 21st century, and we still have so many of us black people who are still bent on following the Bible, the biblical God, and so forth. Now, that is your right. That is your prerogative. If that's what you want to do. I have my issues with it. You don't have to. You see it in there. I know the Bible has words of comfort, and I know it makes some of us feel good. And I know for some people, they feel they need something like that to guide them, to inspire them, to lead them, or whatever the case might be. They need to have a deity looking over them to motivate them to do what is right and to avoid what is wrong. I mean, I don't need that stuff, but I realize some people need those kind of things in their lives. But it's when it's crossed over to where people try to force that stuff on you or try to come at you because, you know, I was on vacation just recently. I went back home. And I had people basically trying to make me feel bad for going to our local carnival. Because in their minds, oh, that's iniquity and that's sinful, and what are you doing going there? Then I had other people trying to nudge me into, you need to come back to the Lord, oh, you better come back to the Lord. No, I don't want to have anything to do with any of that stuff. Why would I? As I said before in some of my other videos, I can prove things in the Bible that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I'm sorry, I'm still getting over a cold. There are things in the Bible I can show that just shows it had nothing to do with any of us in this day and age. I can show things in the Bible that contradict other parts of the Bible. I can show things in the Bible that shows you that it really has nothing to do with us today. And it was just those people's interpretation, their primitive interpretation of the world around them at the time. They did not have science on their hands, on their side. They just looked at the natural world and drew some conclusions, and some of them were wild and off base. But because there was so much ignorance at the time, and there's still ignorance today, because there was so much ignorance at the time, the ignorance had to be filled in. Those gaps were filled in with deities, with gods, with demons, and whatever. And I've mentioned in some of my other videos, they looked up, they didn't understand where the sun came from or what caused it to rise, attributed to a deity. They didn't understand diseases. Somebody dropped down in fire and started having seizures and everything. They thought the person was demon possessed. Today we know that's called an epileptic seizure. They didn't know that back then. And so these weird superstitions come up. And where there be superstitions, and where there's no science, and where there's ignorance, there tend to be gods. There tend to be demons. Once these things are understood for what they are, and they're observed, and correctly and properly observed and understood, they tend not to be gods, and they tend not to be demons. So, when it comes down to legacies, that Bible, the contents in the Bible, that Bible that many of our ancestors came in contact with, and it was handed down, came through our enslavement. And the white folks, this was their religion, the Christian religion. They had their Bibles, and it's something that they left behind or left within our societies as part of their legacy that is still lasting amongst our people today. And one of the groups of people that are still holding on to this legacy are the Hebrew Israelites, some of whom have come into my comment section to tell me I'm the one that need to check myself because somehow I'm caught up with the white man. You, the one holding a book that was given to you by a white man, is telling me that. Think about it. That's my rant for tonight, okay? Meet me down in the comment section. If you want to say something about it, you can check me out down there, okay? This cough is killing me. Let me head on out. It's still love to you guys, all right? Some of you guys have been pretty respectful coming down there. I'll say most of you guys have been. Some of you guys have come in guns blazing. Oh, that's bullshit. What the hell are you talking about? I can't believe a black man. All right, you can calm yourself down. If you listen to this video, really think about it. Really, really think about it and check yourself. All right? See you in the next video.